Hello and welcome to the latest video at Kane, Taunton Coaching. In this video, I just want to go over the main mistakes that I have made and that I see others make when it actually comes to starting their body transformation or fat loss journey in general. These are mistakes that I've made myself as a coach and just as a person in general. And I'm just going to go through a couple of things and what I see and how I'd actually go about potentially fixing it. I think the first thing that a lot of people don't do is give themselves enough time and plan how long it's going to take them to achieve their goal. Now, I went from 107 kilos all the way down to about 75 in the space of about a year, and that was with 2 photo shoots and a couple of dieting phases in there while trying to maintain throughout as well. When I first saw my pictures, I would have probably thought I was about high 20s, maybe low 30s at the highest. But it wasn't until I actually had someone look over it with a less biased view, say that I was probably actually 10% more than I thought. Now, if I had not accounted for that, I probably would have said it would have taken me 10 to 15 weeks potentially, instead of the 30 or so that it actually took me to get to that first photo shoot, where I dropped around 25 kilos overall in about 6 months. So my advice on that would be to actually probably add a little bit of time onto what you think it's going to take. If you think 16 weeks is enough, give yourself 20, just so you know that if anything were to go wrong, any social occasions come up, holidays, whatever it might be, then you have that opportunity to have a bit of leeway without feeling very rushed, and the results should be a bit more maintainable by doing it that way. I think the second thing that people often make the mistake with is actually doing too much towards their goal. Now, while that might sound silly or a bit weird, it's the case of, I get so many people, I'm going to cut out biscuits, I'm going to cut out coffees, alcohol, I'm going to get rid of the takeaway that I have with my kids, I'm not going to do any date nights. And it's like, okay, cool. But the thing that gets you to your goal should also be the type of thing that keeps you there. Now, if you're going to cut all these things out, that's fine, but you have to keep them out, or the likelihood is as soon as you finish your diet or you finish your photo shoot or your bodybuilding phase or whatever it might be, if you then go back to your perceived normal, you're just going to end up back where you were, if not worse. And I can say that from experience of losing 20 kilos to gain it all back, plus some, because I restricted too much. And when I went back to eating what I normally did, which was the thing that got me fat in the first place, I just got worse and worse, okay? So what I encourage people to do is actually keep those things in moderation. If that's biscuits, can you stop at 2, or do you eat the whole packet? If it's the whole pack, it might be something that has to go for a little bit, or learn to moderate. If it's your takeaway, it could be a case of, I know when I go for an Indian, I'm going to share a naan bread and a rice, so I can still have that social occasion and the food, but I'm still able to potentially stay within my calories a lot more and stay on track with my progress. If you're going to fast food restaurants, can you plan that ahead of time? Can you narrow down your options to maybe a Big Mac or the nuggets? It doesn't have to be both. And that would be my solution to that, would be to actually plan what you're doing so you don't get overwhelmed too easily. I think the third thing I'd probably put, and I think this will probably be the final thing in this video, is people are scared to ask for help or admit there's a problem. Now, even though I've been a coach for the last nearly 7 years, it was a case where I knew that I'd let my standards go because I was so focused on the business and relationships and other things, which is completely fine. Other things are going to take a priority at some point. But I took my eye off my training and nutrition. So I got to a point where I said, that's enough. I'm going to ask for someone to take over that for me. So I hired my own coach to guide me through the process of doing a photo shoot, but also losing the weight and showing me what it was like to actually be the client and experience what it's like to go through the process. That enabled me to actually take away a lot of the thinking, and I didn't have to think about what I was training or what food to eat or how many calories to have or how much cardio to do. And the hard decisions were actually made for me. And I know from experience from trying to coach myself and coaching others, it's very easy to go, oh, I'll drop my calories next time, I'll train tomorrow. It's a lot easier to get away with it if you don't have someone holding you accountable. So my advice on that would to actually be to hire a coach or get someone to actually hold you accountable and hold you to a higher standard than you are yourself. And if that is something you're looking to do, then I would be happy to guide you or point you in the right direction of how to find one. But those would be the top 3 mistakes I actually see people make when trying to embark on their fitness journey. And I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.